Hello everyone, I want to talk about Chapter 2 for a minute and navigation through the course ebook. I have downloaded the ebook from the Dropbox share that I sent you and actually installed it on my computer because I don't necessarily spend the whole day connected to the internet, and it's a little bit more efficient for me, but it'll work the same way if you were logged into the class site. Notice that when I'm logged in, here on the left hand side is your reading material, and there's usually images and other media that are here on the right, and I can simply go through by clicking next down here to each page. And some things like here, this screen is a little animation saying click play to view human and computer encoding examples. And if I click play, it'll play that. This is where two people are talking. If I want to look at the computer version, it's the same way: image, submitted, destination, decoded. So as you read through the material, the pages will change, and there's different kinds of media here on different pages for you to try out. Now when you get to the end of the chapter, and I'm going to skip all the way through, when you get to the end, there's a section, Hands-on Lab. This is a topology orientation and building a small network. This is lab 2.6.1, which is exactly the same lab you would pull up if you pulled up the student lab manual and just opened it directly. But if you open it here, watch what happens. I click on it and it pulls up the lab, and it gives me topology orientation building a small network, and you get the background information, the scenario, create a peer-to-peer network, identify the cables, connect the two networks, apply layer 3 address to the networks, select the internet protocol, set the protocol up, so forth, so forth, so forth. And this particular lab, although it was built originally to be done in-house, you could do this lab with Packet Tracer by just simply starting Packet Tracer and going through the steps. Now I'm going to go on over to the next slide, and I've got to the end of the chapter. It tells me what I've learned, and then there's a little review test. You click here to begin, gives me questions. I hit answer, and I go through that part. And then I go on to the next question or next section. Now we've come to a Packet Tracer lab at the very end. I believe this is the one I probably assigned. Simply click it, and it will do two things. It will say, do you want to open it? I'm going to hit yes. And since I have Packet Tracer installed on my computer, it will actually open Packet Tracer first and dump the lab into it. Now that allows you to look at the steps for the lab, have the sample files, and go through the lab at the same time. Now notice here, the lab is opened with all the step-by-step instructions, and I'm just going to move that over here to kind of put it out of the way. I'm going to replace or resize a couple things if need be. And I have my labs. I have the topology. I can look at this topology and I can see that I have router 1 ISP, which is right here, and that hits fast Ethernet 01 port is addressed at 192.168.254.253, and that hits connected to and it doesn't have a default gateway, and I can see that its SOO port is 10.10.10.6, and I most likely can tell what those connections are. And I can go to the second router, the 1841 R2 Central, and notice that its FAOO port is 172, so that tells me that these two routers are not connected via IP, and that its SOO port is 10.10.10.5, and I can tell just from this piece of information and this piece of information that since they're on the same subnetwork, that this connection here must be port SOO. And I can also put my mouse on it, just hold my mouse, and it'll tell me that it is. As you can see, this popped up. So since that's not connected, that means the problem most likely lies there. So then I can read on through the lab and see what steps I need to do to fix that. And he'll say complete the topology, add simple PDUs, test it, and then of course this is the part where I say save it and send it to me, or take a screenshot of it. But the real problem seems to be explore the standard lab setup using Packet Tracer, at the bottom of these instructions are two buttons. Click results, which gives you feedback. So down here is check results. I hit check results and it says I'm undone, so I'm going to close that and go back to the lab. When I complete this lab and do the proper steps to fix it, which if I won't do it since I'm asking you to do it, but when you fix it, you can hit click results and you should be able to be able to look at that lab and see that it's done correctly. Thank you.